Now that Amy and I have completed our investigations, we're ready to reveal our findings to each other and our clients for the first time. Guys, this is Amy. She's gonna be doing the reveal from one of your bedrooms so she can concentrate on your case without any distractions. Amy, this is Heather and her husband, Jonathan. They live here with their 2 kids. This is Bailey and Michaela. Bailey's 21 and Michaela's 14. So now these guys have been here a couple of years and it's been bad for them. No one feels safe. Heather is convinced whatever's here in the house is capable of murder, and she thinks it's going after Bailey. So now that Amy knows a little bit about you guys, she'll tell us about her walk.
There were 2 different sets of dead people. The first one was a couple. They looked to be probably in their 30s. The male was very, very stiff. And she told me the reason why he was like that was because he is suffering from PTSD. I kept trying to figure out how the female died because her face was a little messed up. And I thought initially that it looked like she had been in some kind of fire or something, but I heard no. She just kept saying, "Please help me." There was something as well around her death that had to do with a premature baby.
Okay, so this is making me think of the original owner of this land. His name was John Marsh. He was from Massachusetts. Now, he ended up in Minnesota in Fort Snelling. He worked as an Indian agent. And basically what that means is a fancy way of saying he was a broker between the government, US government, and the Native American tribes. While he was there, he fell in love with an Indian woman and they had a child together. Then things went bad. He got blamed for starting a war between 2 tribes and suddenly his life was in danger. So he sent his common-law wife to hide out with a friend about 300 miles away. But she missed him. And get this, she walked all the way back 300 miles, even though she was pregnant with their 2nd child. But the walk literally killed her. When she arrived, she actually died in his arms. Her unborn child was also dead as well.
The second thing that I saw coming through is something I'm actually worried about here. What I saw coming at me looked like a skeleton. I know that this thing was alive once. It was a person, a male. And what I saw was about 5 or 6 men with this skeleton. They were all on their knees and bent over, and they were banging on the ground. They were around, I believe, a large creek or some kind of riverbed. And what I saw were a lot of bones that were scattered all over the place. And that's why these men are so upset. And they were grieving over the bones.
Wow. You pretty much nailed this one. So Heather and John's house is built on a development of about 3,000 houses. Construction started a few miles away in 2002 by Marsh Creek. This is the creek not far from here. Now, once they started digging, they realized they were building over an ancient city.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, they found tools, cooking sites, all kinds of other artifacts. They also found more than 500 graves with the bones intact. This is what it looked like. It was similar to this. Using radiocarbon dating, they determined that these bones were between 3,000 and 4,000 years old.
Oh, holy.
This means so much.
Did you guys know about that?
I said it, no.
She felt it.
What'd you feel?
She just kept repeating, like, if this is on native ground, we're out of here.
Really?
Because she don't want to mess with it.
Amy, you said you were worried about the skeleton guy, but why?
Now I'm tenfold worried.
Be strong, be strong.
When I saw him in particular coming through that vortex, I thought that maybe y'all would see something very, very big or tall.
Well, Amy, everybody I spoke to has seen this tall shadow guy.
He's very black, very big, black shadow.
It's almost identical, except like I could make out the shoulders, then you could see just the shadow of his head.
The emotion with him is one of utter hate and violence. The reason he's attracted to your house is that there's a lot of anger here.
As soon as I pull up in the driveway, I just instantly feel angry over the smallest things. And I snap instantly, just snap. And for no reason.
It's anger I never felt, screaming to where your throat hurts. And that's not us.
No.
That's not us.
Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if there's been some physical interactions.
You got grabbed by the foot.
Yeah.
Tell Amy what happened.
In bed, getting ready to go to sleep. Next thing I know, I just had this hand just grab my foot and just tug.
Your son Bailey had his foot grabbed too. Tell Amy what happened.
Yeah, and he's a big boy, and it yanked him recently.
Okay.
Remember that spider thing you talked about?
Yeah.
Tell Amy what happened.
It was a night I was laying in bed, and it felt like I had a spider crawl along my shoulder. So I kind of brushed it off, and then it touched my face. And just a few minutes later, something grabbed my throat, started squeezing.
Now, Heather, you told me you feel watched.
Oh, yeah. Creepy. In the corner, just ominous, evil, just staring. He's in the dark, watching.
So you guys have seen it. I mean, Amy, what did it look like to you?
Actually, I did have a sketch done of what I saw.
I'm not sure if you're gonna want to see this.
No, I'm gonna fight this guy. I want to see what he looks like. Oh, yeah, you're going down. Mm-mm. Wrong house. Wrong house. Wrong house.
Wish I could shoot it.
That's scary.
I ain't scared of him.
Oh, good.
I ain't scared of him. He's going. Nah, he just pissed me off. That's all he did. Touch my kids.
So what the hell does he want from these guys?
His intentions are very violent and based on pure, like when I say pure hate, I mean hate. What I saw when I was looking at him coming towards the bed was him definitely honing in on a female. He wants her dead, meaning you.
I told you.
So he can have your bones. It's all about the bones. Almost like a revenge, I think.
What, because they ripped out the bones from the graves here?
That's what I think, yeah.
I knew it wanted to kill me. I knew that. I knew that.
You're angry about it as opposed to being afraid.
It touched my kids. I may be small. With my kids, it's a whole nother ballgame.
All right, good. It's a good attitude. I like it.
A whole nother ballgame.
Amy, meet Chad, who's in the middle. It's his partner, Joseph, to his left. And that's his mom, Linda. Chad's in a bind. The activity in the house is so bad, he doesn't think it's safe for anybody. Problem is, Linda here is not so convinced that it's bad enough to leave. Chad's hoping you can either show them how to make the house safe, or if need be, convince Linda to get out. Unless Amy has some questions for you, she'll describe her walk for us.
The first person I saw inside the house was a dead woman who causes a lot of problems here. She did go on a lot about how much she hates animals because she feels like they're dirty.
She's dirty.
The first thing I see from this woman is her up on the stairwell and her showing me her throwing a cat off of the stairwell.
Oh, hell no.
That's
Couple of
happened
times.
twice.
Oh, that. We have a 19-year-old cat that likes to stay up on the banister, but it was like he got knocked off twice to the first floor, and he was okay.
Chad, you saw an apparition of a woman on the staircase, correct?
Right. She was ascending from the first floor landing up and then stopping at my mother's bedroom door.
Yeah. So I went upstairs and I went into the first bedroom.
Okay, so that's Linda's bedroom.
She was showing me her trying to move things, and she messes with the doors.
When I'm asleep, like 2 or 3 in the morning, the door will open and then bang shut.
Chad, why don't you tell her about your door?
One night I was working at my desk and all of a sudden my door went in and out, like banging, 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 bang, and then the door handle was jiggling at the same time it was going in and out. And it was so loud and aggressive that I thought it was Joseph. And so I went up and opened the door real quick and there was nothing.
Interesting. I think that being around her a lot could drain you, just because she's hyper. This anxiousness could make you guys feel that as well.
Yeah, you can sleep all night and then you get up in the morning and you're yawning and you're acting like you're ready to go to bed instead of just getting up.
You just have this overwhelming feeling of complete exhaustion, and then the anxiety like ramps up.
And I say it's the bubble within the bubble, because if I'm out, I'm totally fine. I have normal energy. But if I'm at home, you can just get up and feel like you need a nap in 2 hours because you're so exhausted.
This could lead to having high blood pressure, which then could lead to heart issues.
Tell her what happened to Mom.
So in 2012, she ended up having a heart attack. And then 3 heart surgeons said if you wouldn't have brought her in, she would have been gone in 20 minutes.
Is it this dead woman that's causing all these issues?
Yeah.
Any idea who this woman was when she was alive?
My feeling was that she lived here, that she lived in this house at some point. I believe that she was in her late 50s, early 60s when she died. She felt like there were a lot of unusual deaths in the area, and that she felt that the energy here is what may have caused so many odd deaths.
Amy, it sounds to me like you're describing a woman who died in the house. Her name was Mary Smith. She was from Oakland. She moved in with her husband into the house here in 1984, but she wasn't here very long before she got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh.
Now, she refused to stay in the hospital, and she died in the home in 1986. Now, she was only 49 when she died, but there's a lot more to this tragic story. Around that time, a lot of people in the neighborhood were dying from cancer.
What?
There also was an unusual, very high number of miscarriages, as well as babies born with birth defects.
Oh.
Turns out toxic chemicals were leaking into the water supply, right here. Matter of fact, here's an article on it. Pollution plagues Silicon Valley.
What the?
Hundreds of your neighbors got together and filed a class action lawsuit against the tech companies who had poisoned the water supply.
Oh my God.
Now, the case dragged on for 5 years and finally ended up with an out-of-court settlement for millions of dollars. Now, we can't prove it, but it makes you wonder if the contaminated water had something to do with Mary's death. Now, I was only able to track down a yearbook photo of her. Obviously, she was much older when she died. I mean, is it possible this is the woman you might have seen?
I had a sketch done of how I saw her.
You guys take a look, and why don't you tell me what you think?
Wow.
I mean, I see that sketch, and then I look at that photo, I can see the resemblance in my police eyes.
Yeah, the older picture looks like the woman that was going up the staircase.
We've got to move her on. I just want to clear out the bubble.
So, how else did the walk go?
Then I go upstairs and encountered 2 males. What they were showing me was them standing, one at the very base of the bed and one on the side. This is while the living are sleeping. What I was able to see was that both of these men were soldiers overseas, and that they had died within the last 20 years, I'm thinking. I would think that these 2 military men would probably be perceived as shadow people.
Now, Chad, you've seen shadow figures. Tell Amy about the feeling you get from them.
There's some that have that authoritative feeling of just they're standing there and it has that same presence that you would feel of a military person.
Interesting. There's a lot of sadness and pain with these men. When they're around, I think that the living would feel their sadness and despair.
You okay, Joseph?
I know what she's talking about. Like, I feel their distress. Like, I can pick up the energy off of things. And when she said that, it was like she hit the nail on top of the head.
I went into the bedroom at the top of the stairs,
That's where the boys sleep.
and I saw initially what I thought were two kids holding hands. But when I really paid attention, I saw that one of them was a legit, dead kid, but the other one was actually a shadow kid. I was not comfortable with that. Shadow kid does create a bit of a ruckus, and I was curious if the living were experiencing bangs on the walls, feeling somebody sit beside them, somebody getting in the bed or jumping on the bed.
There's been numerous occasions where I have felt like something has sat behind me on the bed or jumped on the end of the bed, and there's never anything there.
Okay.
Now, Scott was down here in the living room area when you were on the couch.
Yeah, so I was on the couch in the living room area, and there's quite a large shove, like with some weight that hit the back of the couch, enough to move me.
I also think the living may see the shadow kid.
I see like a medium-sized shadow figure, which I thought was a kid.
So I was coming down the stairs, and there was a little shadow figure, and it always stayed in my periphery and would shoot down toward the garage down the hallway.
I did get that the shadow figure, I believe, had an influence on this real child's death. And I know that it tricked this child to stay with him. I got that the shadow child keeps this child with it so that it might be able to entice other children. And I do believe that it does have its sights set on a child here.
I know that's gotta be tough for you guys to hear.
It's like not what you want to hear as a parent.
No.
Makes me sad, but it also makes me really angry.
I feel so helpless.
Yeah.
Jamie, you know about Alex hearing voices calling him?
Yeah.
Tell Amy what's going on with that.
On a few different occasions, Alex will hear someone calling for him, and no one has called for him.
Yeah, this is not a good situation.
Brandon's told us that in the middle of the night, he'll hear toys moving like one of the kids is going through it.
There's been times where Hunter will be in the living room sitting down and something will push him from behind in the chair or poke him in the back.
Amy, any idea of which of Jamie and Scott's kids are being targeted by the shadow kid?
Oh, I think it's Alex.
Alex, that the shadow figure's going after.
Yeah.
I go in between being really mad and really sad.
You got a lot going on so far in the house. What else, Amy?
So I'm gonna talk about something that I'm really worried about. A big winged creature. It consists of evil. So it's never been human or anything like that. I do want to discuss how it's affecting one of the kids first. I believe it's making them sick. They're suffering with stomach pains, having stomach issues. It's absolutely influencing them. And it's making this child feel very angry. And I believe that there may be some behavioral issues right now where this child might be exhibiting some violent tendencies like throwing things, punching things. I think it's highly likely that we're dealing with a possession. I also feel that there's a real possibility that this child might try to do some physical harm to others in the house.
I'm sorry. I need to take a break.
Okay.
I just need to go outside for a second. It's Hunter.
It's not good to hear, but you can answer and we'll get some help.
You okay, sweetie?
Yeah.
Wanted to give you this.
Thank you.
A lot of what you were saying was hitting home because of what you told me about Hunter.
He has really bad angry outbursts and he hits his siblings or he'll throw something. And I've been saying for a while that I thought something was going on, and he also has really bad stomach issues.
Now, Amy, do you think it's possible that this thing is possessing Hunter?
Yes, I do.
Now, is this creature thing only going after the kids?
I got that a living woman here was going through some stuff. What I felt was this woman feeling fingers or hands on her legs and her legs being forced open.
I've been having nightmares of being raped, actually, exactly the way you explained it.
One night, this is about a week ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I look over and there was a dark figure leaned over inches away from her face. I couldn't make out any features. It was just dark and it just felt so evil. But it just scares me that something's attacking my wife and I can't stop it.
So, Amy, what would this winged creature look like to them?
I did have a sketch done.
It looks like Hunter.
So, Amy, the child that's depicted in this drawing, do we think that's Hunter?
I do.
I'm really pissed off right now.
Yeah.
This thing is pure evil. I think that many would refer to it as a demon. Obviously, it's very dangerous. I believe that it is possessing him. This thing, its end game would be to more than likely take out as many people in the house as possible.
This is so horrible.
It is really, really bad. And I don't have the tolerance for anything or anybody. Matt gets the brunt of it.
And you're pretty understanding about it because you feel it's the paranormalist doing this.
Yeah, I do my best. I chalk it up to there's something else that's causing the majority of these emotions.
Now, could this guy be doing all this?
Yeah, it's all things that he's capable of.
Did you get anything on this guy when he was alive?
I did get that he was a big guy, approximately 6'1", 300 pounds. He told me that when he was alive, he was not a good person. He was mixed up with guns, drugs, horses in a bad way. He may be affiliated with some other males I encountered. These males had died here. They were all holding shovels, and they were just left to rot. These men were very scared, and they were trying to run away from something. They were trying to climb over the fence, but they couldn't quite make it over.
A lot of the stuff she's talking about is making me think of one of the original owners of the property here. His name was Michael Morrison. Around 1908, when Morrison was 21 years old, he started working as a prison guard in Yuma, Arizona. But conditions were bad there. So the state decided to build a new prison nearby in Florence. Morrison supervised the inmates, who basically had to build their own prison, which involved a lot of digging with shovels and stuff. He was eventually promoted to the assistant superintendent, which is a big position for a prison. And he oversaw several executions, which at that time were all hangings. 1920, he left the prison and became a cop. So by the mid-30s, he rose to the top and was made police chief. But there was a huge scandal about him. Corruption, doing whatever he was doing, and he was forced to resign. Now, after this, his life was pretty much over. 1938, he went to the hospital for appendicitis. When they did the operation, it burst.
Oh.
13 days later, he was dead. He was 51 years old. Only thing I could find on this guy was this old picture of him. He looks burly. I don't know about 300, but he's a stocky guy. Any chance Morrison could be this guy?
I did have a sketch done of what I saw of this individual.
Oh, yeah. You guys, look at this.
Wow.
You see the nose?
Yeah.
You can see the chin and all the way down, even to the rolls in his neck, are very similar.
Now, me, I've seen 1,000 sketches.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, they're never really close. But when you have a distinctive nose like that, and that chin.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So you're thinking it could be Morrison?
I mean, it seems pretty likely.
How'd the rest of the walk go?
So now we're gonna talk about something that I was not prepared for. And I feel that it's dangerous. I encountered it in the room, if you go upstairs and turn left.
So that's Emma's room.
It was right by the closet in that room. And what I saw was like, bear with me, the wall just kind of went away. And then I just saw the sky, like darkness, stars, all of this. And I felt like it was kind of a doorway to an alternate dimension. And what was coming through it was this very dark shape, kind of floating. My feeling was, honestly, and I can't explain why, is that it was some type of alien. And it was terrifying.
Huh.
We're talking about frickin' aliens now, right? Now, Sherry, Emma told me she's terrified of her room.
Mm-hmm.
She actually sleeps in the master bedroom with them. There's a mattress they laid down for her.
She's just scared. She hates her closet. Her closet light always comes on.
And when I interviewed her, she told me that she felt as if something was watching her from the closet.
Right.
Now, you guys think Emma has abilities?
I do, yes.
So why do you feel like she has abilities?
She was at such a young age when she started talking about it that we figured, okay, it's an imaginary friend. Now she's 15 years old.
It's
That
still
should be
going.
gone by now.
Actually, I didn't get abilities off her.
Okay. That's very interesting.
So how does this thing affect the living here?
When it enters a room, it does carry some kind of weird electrical charge. It affects lights, batteries, fire alarms.
So this house is just over a year old, and for no apparent reason at all the lights in the upstairs can flicker.
This thing has, in fact, made physical contact with individuals in the home. What I saw happening was this thing coming up and touching the arm, the shoulder, going down the spine. And it really, to me, it was almost like a medical examination that this thing was doing.
Tell Amy what happened with Emma.
Both of us just kicking back on the couch, and she said that her leg kind of started itching and couldn't figure out why, so she lifts up her pant legs and there's a scratch there and it's already bleeding.
I actually got a photo of it here, Amy. Do me a favor and talk to Amy about Jalen's bruises.
Oh, she had bruises all down her face.
Her face?
Her face. They started at the top where her forehead is, and they literally came, it was like dots. They just came around all the way around to her chin. It was very strange.
Here's the photos here.
And she woke up with these?
Yeah, I was like, where'd those come from? And she's like, I don't know.
Now, you said this thing's from another dimension. I mean, what the hell would it look like?
I had a sketch done of what I perceived.
This looks like Emma's room. This might upset you.
Wow. This is what's watching her?
I really don't even know what to say about that. It's heartbreaking. And as a father, it's enough to piss you off.
I'm just shocked.
I'm concerned. And the thing I was extremely concerned about was that this alien was very much discussing its want to take this female, or now females, with it. It's possible you guys have been abducted together.
What the hell am I gonna do?
I knew there was something here, and I knew there was something wrong with Emma's room. Like, I know there's something wrong with that room. But I didn't expect that.
Amy, when I interviewed Cindy, her voice would change, like something else was kind of talking.
Well, it was happening every time I talked about what it does, and then it starts doing this to me. It feels like I got this pressure on my chest or on my esophagus, like it's pressing down on it.
Is it possible that this DOA is jumping her, or is it something different?
Well, it's more than that because she's consistently blending with her.
That explained a lot of things. So.
All right, so any idea who this woman was when she was alive?
I would put her in her 60s. The illness that she suffered with was very long, and she was in a lot of pain. If I had to guess, I would have said, that she died from cancer. I felt like there was some kind of relationship between her and another deceased person that's here.
I want to take a shot in the dark here. Now, one of the first owners of your land was a businessman named J.C. Faulkner, and he moved here from Kansas. Now, his mother was a woman named Mattie Faulkner. She suffered from chronic and painful asthma for years. So in 1913, she left Kansas and moved out here to Fresno. Now, the hope was that you have this dry air out here, that it would help her illness, but unfortunately it didn't. Just a few months after getting here, she dropped dead. She was 65 when she died, and Amy had said she was in her 60s. So I'm curious if you think Mattie Faulkner might have been the woman you saw.
No. She felt like a newer dead person, and I did have a sketch of her done.
You guys think?
Wow.
Apparently, this is the woman that's causing your voice and your physical being to be disrupted.
It makes me upset because, I'm not doing anything to her.
She feels the warmth and the love that you emanate, and you're kind of, unfortunately, taking on her misery.
Some days I get sad for no reason and I can't explain it and just want to curl up and cry.
Okay, Aim, what else?
The next person that I'd like to discuss is very creepy. He's constantly changing his form. When I first encountered him, I saw him weaving in and out of the ceilings.
I was sitting here on the couch watching TV, and I noticed it come into the room. It appeared that it was about this big, and I relay it to other people as a legless spider just because of the way it moved across the ceiling.
Wow. His whole thing is that he's a stalker, but he's not really that interested in adults. And I actually briefly saw him with this child that he was torturing. And she looked to be about 5 years of age. I felt like you might see her as well.
Okay. Why did it hit you so hard, sweetie?
I've had my daughter's babies over here.
You also saw a little girl.
Yes. I'd come down the hall and I'd see a little girl sitting on the end of the table.
Interesting.
Anything else?
The next individual that I encountered was a dead person that I'm worried about, and I called him the creeper. He looked to be in his late 50s, early 60s. I got that he was an upper middle-class businessman. I think he may have owned this place at one point. He showed me that he was in some kind of a really bad car accident and felt it was important that I knew this. I also felt that he may have raped someone while he was alive.
Okay, the rape thing kind of threw me off a bit. I don't have anything on that. But there was a man who owned this property that was a very successful businessman. And he did get into a deadly car accident.
Oh.
Remember I told you about Maddie Faulkner, who died from asthma? Well, her son, JC, owned the property, and he was a very, very successful guy. In 1910, JC bought 6,000 acres of land in Fresno, including the property we're on right now. He got rich off this land. But money didn't bring him happiness. The year he bought the property, his wife died in childbirth. The next year, he got into a deadly car accident. Now, JC was behind the wheel of the car, but he hit a motorcyclist. He watched this guy die in front of him. So now JC owned the land until 1956, and he stayed in Fresno another 13 years before dying in 1969. Is it possible this could be the creeper guy?
Yes. As far as all the details, they all match.
Now, you said he's one of the ones you're the most worried about. Why is that?
He gets off on stalking people. He's always looking in windows. He is very open that this was a sexual thing for him, to kind of stalk people. And I felt like he had been busted a few times, that you may have seen him as like a shadowy figure.
Sitting here watching TV, I've seen shadow figures walking past through the doors.
I can walk in my room, the master bedroom. I'll feel like there's something watching me.
I had a sketch done of what I saw this man doing.
Piece of
I'm the one that sleeps on that side of the bed. That's even more sick.
He watches adults, male and female, and this excites him.
So, Cindy's going through a lot here. I want to show you some pictures that I have of her being assaulted by this person, her being scratched. Then you got, it's like a bruise, like you had a hand wrapped around you on her bicep area. And then this one's the choke marks around her neck.
I ended up having this person on top of me with their hands around my throat. I sat there just going, okay, this isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real.
You've had some other things happen to you that were inappropriate.
Yep. I thought my husband had snuck in bed with me and started caressing me and touching me. And next thing I know, I felt something on top of me. And I opened my eyes and there was nothing there.
I'm just glad that we're here and that we can put a stop to this as soon as possible.
I want to get this to stop. I want to be able to sleep.
My house is just becoming more and more infested. I don't know where all this is going to go. They're getting more aggressive with us.
Joanne, I got to tell you, just pulling up to this beautiful home, I find it hard to believe that you're having problems here. But when we spoke on the phone, you didn't sound too great.
We bought this beautiful house for us, you know, for our family, for our grandkids, and there's so much activity. I'm just really afraid to bring any family here.
Well, that's miserable.
I just want them to be happy here, and this is a place where they can be safe, and they're not.
You're breaking my heart. I mean,
things are moving on their own. We're experiencing sudden mood changes. We get sick.
We're seeing shadowy figures. Now they're becoming physically violent with us.
I see white eyes looking at me. Without a doubt, I believe that the living here are thinking that this is a shadow person. But I know that it's a male and that it's a teenager. He's just staring at me. I think he's influencing a living male here to be bad. This older dead woman, she gets really angry in here. I see her, like, literally losing her. So I'm wondering if the living have had a lot of experiences in here.
What is she doing?
Just throwing fits.
And how are the living receiving this?
It would be possible for things to be being thrown. Maybe things are moving. She gets a lot of energy in here, and she is able to make noise and knock over. And maybe they do have lights blow out. Things go out in here, not working so great.
So I woke up in the middle of the night, pinned down.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel to you? Was it felt like a human on
Like
top of you?
arms and legs, like across me and on top, like something was laying on top of me.
Okay, is it possible you were dreaming?
I was awake and moving my limbs and trying to get out of it. I could move everything.
Really?
Yes. And then another time, I was laying on my side. It pushed me from my side onto my stomach and then held me down when I was in the bed.
When you're getting pinned down like that, does it feel sexual at all?
No, it feels violent, like somebody's trying to hurt me.
I've been through a lot in my life. I would have ran the hell out of this house if it was me.
I feel really, really sick up here.
What's going on?
Having really bad neck pain, extreme nausea, fevery. Maybe it's her, maybe the older woman, because I know that she was sick for a long time. In here, I see physical interaction with somebody. Like, and she's like smacking them or trying to smack them and saying like, stop being a little. The old woman's sitting there. She has a routine that she does. She's taking a head count. People? There's one, and then goes there. Okay, maybe somebody's in here. Okay, somebody's in here. And then somebody's in there. And then she will start running back and forth. And then she'll just go and with the ones that she feels like with. But yeah, I do see physical altercations with the living.
He got really weird. He started making idle threats to kill himself. For about a month or so before he died, he would wake up every morning shaking, like feverishly, like just shaking so much so the entire bed would shake. And he would just scream, help me, help me, help me. And nothing I did could console him. Nothing I did could calm him.
Was it dreams he was having, or was just he was having an episode?
He was awake.
He was
wide awake. I mean, I could try to talk to him and he would just grab me by my forearms and you don't understand, you don't get it, you don't get it, you can't see what I see, you don't understand. And he was like possessed. He took his belt off and he strangled himself in the front seat of the car, willingly.
I've investigated thousands of suicides. That's pretty rare.
I'm feeling like I'm dying again. This is a younger woman. Time frame. It feels like 30 years. Feels recent. I mean, it just feels so raw. It's so thick and heavy. There's also a lot of anger and fear. My head hurts.
So, Scott and Joanne, I want you to meet Amy. She's gonna be doing a reveal from one of your rooms here. This way she can focus on your case and the dead without being disturbed. Amy, I don't know how much you were able to see during your walk, but Scott and Joanne have an incredible place here. This is their dream home. What they're hoping is that you can show them a way to make this house safe for everybody to enjoy. So unless Amy's got some questions for you, she'll tell us about her walk.
What I saw was an elderly woman. Whenever she's in the kitchen, she's throwing a fit. She's also, strangely, able to gather a lot of energy in that location. So I wouldn't be surprised if lights are affected and things like that in that particular area, because she's drawn from every source of energy.
I'll be watching TV and the thing will just stop. It'll shut off. And I'll think I need to do something, then it comes back on.
And that sounds like it's this woman?
Yeah. One of the things I saw her do one night was she was literally floating like over a person, and I got that it was a living female. And I felt like the living female was either seeing her or knew she was there in her face and was like smushing her face into the pillow to be like, oh no, this is not happening.
Now, this old lady, is she doing anything else?
She was showing me that she had her sights set on a living male here. It's because she feels that this living male is a bad person. She told me he's abusive.
We're talking about Scott here. He's the only living male in the house.
Right. I was feeling from her that this might be a projection of somebody she hated during her life. So I did have a sketch done of what she would like to do to this person.
Wonder what else she's capable of.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
You're not gonna like this.